Hey everyone, Brad the mechanic here. Today we're working on a 2006 Saturn View. This is just a front wheel drive V6 and we're going to be doing the rear wheel bearings. So what I did here is I got the car up on a jack stand and I got the rear drum, or I got the wheel off and I got the rear drum PB blasted. And then I'm going to smack on it a few times. We're going to get that drum off and see what's back there. We're gonna have to get back behind here and see. So if you look behind the wheel bearing itself, you can see that there are 4 bolts. We're gonna have to remove those. Usually they are either 13s or 15s. So I'm gonna put a little PB blaster on there. We're gonna get those off, and then I'm gonna PB blast all up in here and everything so that we can make sure this thing comes out easy. It looks like it's going to be kind of a pain by how rusty it is in there. And before we get too far in, I'm going to remove the wheel speed sensor that is attached to the bearing itself. So they're 13 mils, and I did have to tap this. I mean, this is in Michigan, so you might not have to do it, but I had to tap a couple of these onto the bolts so that the socket is on there correctly, because if it's not on there correctly and you round it off, you're gonna have a ton of problems. Make sure you use a 6-point socket and it'll get those right off for you. So once you get those clear, we'll get those out, all 4 of them. This backing plate and the drum and the bearing are all kind of held together by the bearing itself. And if you smack this off, this backing plate will also move, and it has a hard brake line, so you don't want to move this. So what I usually do is when I'm trying to tap this off and bang it off, I keep one of the screws in it a little ways, and it'll hold all this stuff together. You don't have to have it threaded into here, but once this is out, you can put the bolt through and it'll hold all this together while you put the new bearing on. Okay, so I took a little prying, a little banging. I got it off, and the wheel speed sensor has a grommet on it, and that comes out of right here. The plug will fit through. So what I'm going to do now is I have that bolt holding it. You can use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but this is going to hold this backing plate here so that this line doesn't get messed up, because that's a hard line all the way to the connector. So I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to get the new bearing and set it in there. So now that we got this all cleaned out in here, we're going to take the new one and we're going to fish this grommet through that hole as we install the wheel bearing, and we're going to make sure it's oriented the correct way, which would be this way, so that when it goes in there it's just right. Once you get that in there, get the wheel speed sensor on, get the drum on. And then put your wheel. Alright, we just took it for a test drive. Everything feels good. You don't have to like or subscribe. I just want you to fix your shit, so go out there and fix it, alright? See ya.